Hello guys, CHM here, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. In this episode, we are going to be finishing up building our moon base, known as Moon Base Alpha. So the first component we're launching in this episode is the crew module, I believe. So this is basically where all the crew is staying, of course, and it'll also be used as like a rover to kind of rove around. I didn't put any headlights on it, but you still can use it during the daytime. I wouldn't really do any operations during nighttime because it's, you know, too dark, even with headlights on. Anyways, we're just heading up into our suborbital trajectory. I'm just sort of making this as flat as possible. There we go, get a nice look at that. There's our crew habitation module. I'm just going to make our maneuver for our insertion burn. There we go. Got the burn successful, and now it's time to head to the moon, of course. But before we can do that, we must change our inclination. Pretty easy. Most of the stuff is pretty easy, like just getting yourself to the moon is pretty easy if you've been playing the game for reasonable, you know, if you actually know what you're doing, you should be able to get to the moon. Pretty much first try every time. So anyways, we're heading up to the maneuver and we're firing our engine. Alright, here we go. Create our maneuver to create our lunar orbit. There we go. Ooh, a bit of a spinning there. Once again, fix our inclination just a little bit. So as you can see there, you kind of just flew over the miner down there, which still will be used. And it looks like we're going to go for a nighttime or sunset sort of landing. Just make sure the ladders work properly. And here we go. Time to start our descent to the moon base. Here we go. And we're getting really close. As soon as we get close, our closest approach, we are going to kill the horizontal velocity. So we now are just basically heading straight down to the ground. As you can see there, just killing off more horizontal velocity, so it is basically straight. Yep, it's like a sunset, like the sun just set as we land here. Let that thing take off and direct it onto the ground once more. Anyways, here we are. I'm just gonna wait till daytime till I maneuver myself over to the base. As you can see, there's currently no crew. In the next launch, we'll be sending up the crew and the shuttle that will bring crew back and forth between the moon orbiting station and the moon base. So there we go. So this is what the moon base is going to look like most of the time when there's no shuttle there. And here we are with the fuel module. And I kind of made a mistake a couple minutes ago saying that the next launch is the crew. I kind of forgot that we have this launch, which is the fuel module, so we can have more storage to convert fuel into. So we can refuel the shuttle that lands there. So we need to get that there before we can bring in a shuttle. Sorry about that error, guys. Everybody does it. Has errors every now and then. So very, very standard stuff, you know, just standard launch, standard transfer burn, you know. I think in the next episodes I'm just gonna cut out most of the mundane stuff like this, you know, get rid of the launches. I'll just show the craft launching and the fairings deployed and the circularization orbit and it burning to the moon, stuff like that, and the main parts, you know. Just so it's a bit shorter for you guys. And so you don't have to see the same thing over and over again. I'm trying to like, currently like, this is like modeled after kind of like Scott Manley's sort of his sort of style. He like shows basically like everything, every step of the way, but he has more to talk about. He's more of an interesting guy than me, so he has more things to talk about during the boring and mundane parts. So yeah, so I might just trying to be truthful with you guys. So that's probably why I'm going to do that also, because I don't really have much things to talk about during all these mundane parts, especially in the longer episodes. Anyways, here we are heading down to the moon, and it's now burning to so we can create a orbit around the moon. And once again, we've got to fix our inclination. I'm also kind of just trying to bring the periapsis down above the moon base, or just past the moon base. There we go, setting up our maneuver to bring ourselves down. Anyways, here we go. Prepare for landing. This is like the 7th time you guys have seen this landing, so yeah, I'm probably gonna start cutting out parts like this, or at least the parts that are a bit mundane. That's kind of cool, all that stuff didn't completely blow up as soon as it hit, kind of like just broke into 2 pieces and bounced off. That was I think it's more cinematic that way, and you know, this one I landed pretty close. Let's go ahead and let's get rid of the sky crane once more. This time I crashed kind of closer, but then that thing flies off. I'm like, holy crap, that thing is going at a big little trajectory, so I'm just going to switch target real quick. And there we go. As you can see, I have landing legs on the side of this fuel module. I did this to kind of give it a little bit more elevation if it can't reach the docking modules on the lander, which you'll see in a couple minutes. Anyways, like, take a nice look at that. Now that's the complete look at what the moon base is going to look like without a craft. But here we are sending the crew module, not the crew module, but the crew shuttle and the crew to the base. I don't know why, but I like that shape of that fairing. It just looks nice. Anyway, so we have about, I think, 6 people currently heading to the moon base. 5 of them are going to be residents of the base, and the other one will be a resident of the crew shuttle and of the moon orbiting station. I believe it says she, and she will, bring the crew back to and from the moon station. In a later episode, I'll send a crew shuttle, a return vessel of sorts, to the moon orbiting station, along with probably new crew, and send some people home and put some new crew on there. So here we are. This time I'm like, I don't need to do a inclination change. I'll just do it when I'm at the moon, which is probably what I'm going to do from now on, since it doesn't really seem that necessary to do it while orbiting Kerbal. So here we are, fine-tuning it, and now we're off. Once more, setting up our maneuver. As you can see, I have like a bit of I have like a passenger module sitting on top of the shuttle itself, and that's because it's not like a main part of the actual shuttle. It's just kind of a temporary part, so I can get all the crew there at one launch. So after I land, and get all the crew transferred over. I can just take that off of the lander and crash it onto the surface of the moon. So anyways, here comes the final stretch, completing this moon base as we come in to begin our landing. This time it's another sort of sunset, maybe like an hour or two before sunset, or maybe even probably 5 hours or so, actually. But anyways, we are just trying to get as close as possible to the base. But it seems I landed for 800 kilometers away, maybe 500 or so. It's kind of oddball numbers, but anyways, here we are landing. There was one slight error that I made while making this lander, is when I tested it at Kerbal, all the modules on the moon base could reach the docking ports on the side of the lander, but on the moon it cannot. They're higher than the others. Even with me deploying the landing gear on the fuel module, which is one of the modules I use to kind of taxi it over there, it's not tall enough. So I have to do some unconventional stuff, and what I mean by that is I basically have to keep deploying and undeploying the doing that. It's retracting and deploying the gear over and over again. So now I'm going to use the crew module, as it's like the main rover of the moon base, also to taxi it over. I really like this method of getting it. I just have to, in the future, send a, better shuttle, because that those docking ports are just a little too tall. I just need to bring them down a little bit more. Anyways, you see me reloading there because I kind of messed up, but after some time, I eventually got it to dock. And it was time to head off to the moon base. See, I like how this looks. It's kind of funny. And I really like how this works. So it's actually pretty well, even with kind of the retracting and deploying of the landing gear to get the docking ports to reach. It does turn really slowly though, but nothing I can't handle. So anyways, we're just going to line it up and dock it over here by the converter. Just trying to line it up. There we go. And as you can see, the thing starts moving. I'm like, uh-oh. I need to put the brakes on these things all the way up as far as they can go. But that didn't seem to work. So I'm like, I'll deploy landing gear. And that worked. I guess it was just kind of too heavy on that side, so I decided to start rolling away. Anyways, here I am transferring all the crew, except the pilot of the shuttle over. Now with the crew now loaded into the module, I will now dock it to its proper location. And there we go. Our moon base is completed. I just need to get rid of this thing. By just crashing into the ground. There we go. So now I'm off, guys. I'll leave you guys with some parting shots of the moon base and the flag being planted, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.